and thanks to all of you guys who have recently subscribed. I have been talking about how Traumatized Girlie has been taking off and doing so well, both on TikTok and YouTube. Traumatized Girlie is now going neck and neck with like followers and subscribers, and like I'm just like, all right, but I'm gonna try my best to continue to ride this momentum and this wave and continue to be as available for you guys as I can with everything going on, you know, and all that. But like honestly, I am so blessed and I am so grateful for all the support on Traumatized Girlie, which originally this was just a passion project of mine. I just really wanted a channel where I could like talk and nerd out about mindset and manifestation and consciousness and be able to do so in peace without, like, on my main channel, The Life of a Free Spirit, I've changed brands and directions on that channel so much. I'm not gonna lie. And the only thing that has ever remained constant on that channel is just me talking about my life periodically and, you know, doing vlogs or whatever. So now that channel is most of what that consists of now, despite all the different reroutes and redirections, all of that, I now feel a place of peace with that channel to where, you know, I'll post and I'll upload, you know, as often as I'm able. But I did kind of feel like just with the momentum that Traumatized Girlie is catching, that for right now, maintaining both channels when already I'm maintaining different platforms for Traumatized Girlie was just getting to be a bit much. And so just kind of easing back into the flow of things and just easing back into the balance of everything. And it's not saying that I'm, you know, completely gone from The Life of a Free Spirit, but Traumatized Girlie right now just has like a really, really big portion of my heart, because it's amazing to see that my content is resonating with people who are not only interested in learning about mindset, manifestation, and just trying to better their lives, but on TikTok, I've already received several DMs. A couple of you have already booked like Calendlies with me, just to get my insight. And it's crazy because I just started all of this. Like, Traumatized Girlie has only been around for like 3 months. So it's not like I've been around or even like a real, you know, known name in the community yet. I'm just existing, and that has been enough to bring you guys in and engage with the channel. And I love it so much, because it's taken me years to work on my mindset. It's taken me years to ascend, to evolve, to catch my own cycles, to take accountability for my own wrong turns in life, my own wrong choices, you know, rising above circumstances, rising above past people, you know, past versions of myself and things like that. And it's been a blessing, honestly, to not only come this far in my own personal mindset, but it's also a blessing to be able to help people so soon as I've been starting this project. So I'm blessed, okay? And this is a video that I've been promising you all for the longest, and now I can finally deliver it. So this is going to be about the layers of consciousness. I think that this is going to be a two-parter, because this is going to just kind of scratch the surface and be just like a quick version of it. But if we want to talk deeper, and if we want to go deeper, which we can, talk about the actual layers of Christ consciousness and the layers of, you know, conscious awareness and conscious creation, then I can do that as well, right? And so this is going to be a quicker version, like I said, and like, depending on, you know, how you all interact with this video, and if you all have questions, of course, just feel free to ask me, of course, always. And then we can just go and take it from there, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. So these are the layers of consciousness. So let's talk about number one. Number one is the unconsciousness, just pretty much being in sleep mode. And that consists of, also known as the ego state / victim mode, okay? I know that we have all been there in life to where we have felt like the victim of someone, something, somewhere at some point in time. And as valid as that may feel and can be for you in the moments, it is not a conducive mindset to dwell or stay in ever. Because when you truly realize that you are all there is, and you are the operant power in your reality, and all of your assumptions, your thoughts, and your belief are, you know, what makes you one, not only with self, but your reality. It's only a mirror of you. It's only ever reflecting you. Then you can understand how just like how you might have believed that you were the victim, you can also believe to be the victor and understand that you were never victimized to begin with, and take a level of accountability to where you don't choose or put yourself in situations where you do that to yourself ever again, right? So unconscious state also consists of the view of reality. Life happens to me. Okay, it's normally dominated by fear, survival programming, trauma, and lack. Oh God, the lack mindset. Identify it with thoughts, emotions, circumstances, and external validation. Constant blame, projection, and emotional reactivity. Oh God, I loathe. I loathe it. I only loathe these things because I used to operate this way. And if you all have been following me for a while and even followed me from my main show, Life of Free Spirit, then you guys have actually seen me in this lower state, which is why, I figured, I'm going to make the dedicated change to work on myself and, evolve myself and work on my mindset to where nothing, no one, no circumstance will ever get me, quote unquote, down ever again, because it's not worth it, because I love myself too much to lose myself like how I have in the past ever again, right? So yeah, I loathe the emotional reactivity. And then in unconsciousness, in the sleep mode, you also feel separate from everything, from yourself and others, and from God. And I know that you all have probably witnessed me, getting back into faith, and my thoughts and my faith and my beliefs have personally changed. You guys know I used to be a person who used to outwardly say I didn't believe in God. I used to be not necessarily against God, but I used to be one of those people, like, you guys know, like how people say, and mind you, this is not to change your beliefs. This is just giving you my perspective. I'm not here to argue about religion, beliefs, nothing. This is just me giving you my story, my perspective, and the why, okay? I don't really care what and how other people believe. You are entitled to believe or not believe whatever you choose, right? And this is not that, but I'm telling you, just speaking from my personal experience, my personal journey, and the why, right? And you know how people used to say that, if God exists, then why is there so much cruelty in the world? If God exists, then why is there so much suffering? If God exists, then why was my family like this? And why was my life like this? Like, I totally get it, because I used to have that same mindset, and I used to be dark like that. And while I can, once again, I can validate almost anything, because I understand where it's coming from. However, it's not conducive, because what I have personally found, and this is just my personal belief system, okay, is that if you have no faith in God, there's a part of you that has no faith in yourself. Because if you're saying that, if God exists, why is there so much BS happening in the world? And most importantly, if you're saying like, well, if God exists, then why was my life like this? Then why is my family like this? And why have things always been this way? You may not be aware, but what you're communicating is that you don't have faith in yourself to change it. Not necessarily focus on changing the outside world, but changing your own circumstances, changing your own life, changing your own path, changing your own direction, choosing different choices, changing the people who you surround yourself with. It's okay to make mistakes in life. I don't care how many relationships, friendships, or whatever you have to go through or fall out of, or careers or jobs or whatever it is, or schools even, you have to go in and fall out of until you finally get it right. If you don't have the faith to move forward, if you don't have the trust to at least give yourself that chance, to at least give yourself, like truly give it to yourself first, like give yourself the ability to move on and change and give it an honest, conscious effort, then you're saying you don't believe in yourself. Because as the operant power in our realities, there's nothing outside of us. So we are indeed known as the gods and the goddesses of our realities. And that's why, even when you get on spiritual content or pages, or even, down to like spiritual books, we're referenced to like this, right? Like tarot, right? You have the Empress, the Emperor, okay, the High Priestess. You know what I mean? To represent divine feminine, divine masculine, right? And all of that is just oneness. And you don't necessarily have to have a belief system in those things per se, but at least have the belief system in yourself enough to know that you can change, to know that you can evolve, to know that you don't have to be defined by your circumstances, your past, or people, or whatever it is, because you are all there is. It's just you. So you should be able to dictate who and what you are at all times in your own reality, or at least believe in yourself enough too. And start it today. Start by saying, what am I going to do for myself today to start showing up for myself, start prioritizing myself, start respecting myself more, start taking better care of myself. I don't know who or what the fuck type of situation this was that got me fucked up, that got, them thinking that I'm going to participate in this dynamic, but I can't relate to that. And just continue to work and evolve. And love yourself through it, and allow yourself to just be, and allow yourself to have the opinions, to have the gumption and the ability to just move forward, right? You gotta level up out of that, unconscious mind first. So let's talk about the second layer of consciousness. Okay. And so the second layer is just simply having the awareness, right? And so awareness can consist of, this is when awakening begins, also known as observer mode. And this is when we start to relinquish emotional reactivity. Remember when I told you guys about how I came across that Tony Robbins quote and it changed my life? Where focus goes, energy flows. And how, honestly, I see how that played very negatively into my life, but also very positively in my life. For example, when I've gone through my fair share of things online, and I would focus so much on, the negativity, the hate campaigns, the bad content, the bad opinions, and even false narratives being spread about me, girl, I unfortunately focused so much on that bullshit to where it consumed my reality. Right. And it happened quick. I mean, you guys know, I dealt with that for about a good solid 2 years straight, and it was wild. And it wasn't until I made the conscious effort and the conscious shift to not give that shit my attention or my energy, and to stop emotionally reacting, and to just kind of let them, Mel Robbins, the let them theory. Because what I realized was, even though I was coming from a perspective of, oh, well, maybe if I argue my point and I can prove myself correct, because obviously I was just looking for validation, and a lot of the things that were going on weren't true. So my opinion at the time was that I was going to need to prove myself. But if I'm truly operating from a place of, I know who I am, and I know that I am more than enough, and I know that I never deserved any of this bullshit, that version of me wouldn't even be bothered with entertaining anyone's hate campaign, any bullshit, right? And I'm going to just be very, very honest. You guys, even down to recently, and this is kind of like nipping the bud in dating relationships. And I'm going to just say this flat out honestly, because I'm high key experiencing this now. You all know that I'm a mommy, right? And for those of you all who understand what happened with that previous relationship, then you all know I don't feel the need to go on and on about it or anything like that. However, there are behaviors from that past circumstance and that past person that are honestly despicable to me, like disgusting to me. It makes me want to vomit, right? And so that person and that past dynamic, they're trying their best to I'm not gonna lie. When I told y'all about the old energy trying to tug, I be talking in real form, okay? I just know how to finesse it better now because it doesn't faze me, because I see it for what it is. But that person is trying their fucking best to I don't know, this person has morphed into I don't know what the fuck they even think that they're doing, but this person is trying their hardest to get a reaction out of me, to hurt me, to, make me feel a way, to like paint me in a like quite literally lying, like trying their damnness. Like, you know, hey, I can always give an A for effort. Like, trying their fucking best to come for me, and I'm just over here like with my Starbucks, like okay, like I see what you're doing, but I'm not gonna allow that to get a reaction. And the person is trying their best, and like I don't know, like it's like hilarious to me. But this person is trying their best, because I've shifted awareness, and I've shifted energy, and I've shifted attention, and I refuse, and I don't care, because I know who I am. I don't feel the need to argue my worth. I don't feel the need to argue my value. I don't feel the need to be placed in a situation to where I'm like being like quite literally being persecuted. Like, I don't need to surrender to that kind of a dynamic, because I know who I am, because the version of me who doesn't give a fuck about any of that wouldn't give a fuck about that. The version of me who knows that I'm above it, that okay, that's you trying to cause some weird toxic like fucking fallout all on your own. And I mean, I commend the efforts, because that type of shit has to be exhausting, right? But like, to not allow it to pierce me, right? And honestly, this is what they mean when they say that people can do whatever it is they think that they're doing to you. You do have to choose whether or not to be affected by it, and that is a conscious decision. But yes, it's like staying solid and embodied in that version of me that like wouldn't give a fuck about any of that, and continue on my divine and my chosen path, which is, you know, studying for real estate, pursuing my goals, continuing with Traumatized Girlie, continue prioritizing myself not only as a woman but as a mother, and just as the source that brings life into this world. And so it's like, you know, I guess I could make a separate video about this if you guys are interested, about how I believe women should value themselves, because I feel like women get caught up in situations, especially with men or exes or certain dynamics and circumstances that make them feel down about themselves, and it's a whole ass trap. And it's like, if you really start treating yourself as the creator of all things, as women are, okay, we bring life into this world. There is no reason why we should be out here stressing over no man. There is no reason why we should be out here like over sacrificing ourselves for no man situation or circumstance. Like, that shit wears you out. Stress kills, bro. Stress kills. So don't quite literally kill and deteriorate yourself for no situation, no man, no what. You're the one that brings life into this world. It's your body that's on the line when you're pushing out a baby. It's your energy field and source that's, you know, quite literally fueling your baby when you're pregnant. It is you that nurtures that child as that child gets into this world. It's you that, you know, provides the nutrition, the safety, the home. And if you're a person to where, you know, you want more kids, or you want more of a family life, then that self-preservation, it has no choice but to come truly first, because you've already over-sacrificed enough. So don't allow yourself to fall victim or circumstance, or fall victim to circumstances or victim to scenarios that will have you out here over prioritizing yourself and undervaluing yourself. It's a fucking trap. I don't care. And you can always tell what the trap is, the more upsetting it is, the more sick it is. If you have someone who's actively betraying you, like let's say they threaten your life, right? And you have to, you know, make it out. Okay, that person has already told you their intentions. Why the fuck would you be dancing around back and forth in your head saying, well, I think they care about me. Or maybe I should give them a chance. Are you goofy? Like, no, like that is like the pure signal to prioritize yourself. Like, you no longer know that person. Okay. RIP. All right. RIP to how I used to know and what I used to know and what we used to have or thought we had, or the friendship. It's RIP, bro. And I wish you the best. And the thing is, when you take that mindset and when you take that attitude, a lot of people don't take kindly. So this is what causes like a lot of post-separation abuse and cycles to keep on going, because what you're doing is breaking the cycle, and what you're doing is making it out, and people don't like that, because when you cut the energy source and when you cut the cord and when you actually go and you live for yourself and you take care and prioritize yourself, that person is left with their shadows, their bullshit, their karma. And people will try to project that onto you, right? And so because of that, it's having the awareness, okay? Like how we're talking about the layers of consciousness. You need to have the awareness to see that for what it is, and to still prioritize yourself above it. So no matter how, past people, circumstances, or things try to pursue you after you detach, after you leave, see it as a sign of your growth. See it as a sign of your evolution. See it as a sign of your old self still clinging to that old story that you need to continue to detach from and cut the cord to, because there is nothing outside of you. Right. And so it's like you can't get too overly attached to anything, especially as you're constantly evolving, because that's what we're meant to do here as human beings. We're meant to evolve. We're meant to grow and change. We're meant to, fall in love with ourselves and prioritize and preserve ourselves and preserve our wellness. And especially as women, it's imperative, because we are the birth. We are the source of quite literally all things. You know what I mean? The divine feminine, like, it's a reason why the divine feminine is rising and has been for the longest, because women have over-sacrificed, over-given, been persecuted, been shunned, been abused, been wronged, been threatened, been killed, due to not only the patriarchal systems in this world, but due to undervaluing themselves, not being aware, not having the awareness of who they were and who they always have been, and giving their power away to men, to careers, to circumstances, only to get nothing in return and be beat the fuck down. And that, to me, like, that's always disgusted me, and it's always broken my heart, and I've always just told myself, not me, right? And so it's like having the awareness enough to move forward no matter what, having the awareness, the awakening enough to love self despite all, okay? And another part of that awareness is your view of reality, saying, wait, I am not my thoughts. I'm the one witnessing them. Being the observer is imperative, because you'll be able to see persons, places, things, and situations for who and what they are. And then you get to choose to react. You get to choose whether or not you want to engage. You get to choose whether or not you want to communicate. And you can even be strategic with this, especially if you see a person trying to set a trap for you. Okay, well, I'm going to bypass this trap and let, whatever happens here happen. And I'm going to continue living my life. And I'm not going to be affected by either way, because especially a person trying to set a trap for you or set you up or perpetuate a cycle against you, bitch, you deserve more than that anyway. You never deserve that. So if I know that I'm worth more, why would I give it my energy or attention? Especially when I can go over here and surround myself with people who would never treat me like that. Find a man and be with a man who would never do that to me. Be with a man who's more focused on, plentifying my flowers every fucking week and taking care of my fucking Starbucks and taking me out to eat and, providing for me and actually, talking to me with some common sense. Like, you can cut shit off and always find better, but the better has to always start within self first. You begin to question your conditioning patterns in your relationships, just like how I've mentioned. You feel the dissonance between who you've been and who you really are. Exactly. Your inner child wounds and shadow begin to come up for healing. Yes. And then you start seeking deeper truth, spirituality, self-help, and healing practices. Also, this is when the veil starts to lift and you begin your spiritual journey. So, I've always been a very aware person, but I must admit that I have not been this aware in my entire life. I have always had the ability to understand people, places, circumstances, and their motives. But I must admit that where I've gone wrong a lot of the times in life is giving people the benefit of the doubt. I don't know why we do that. It's like, now I'm more of the mindset of, if somebody shows you who they are like the first time, like fucking believe them. Like, why even give a chance? Like, I don't know why, especially women are conditioned to give so many chances, especially when those same chances aren't given to us. Like, women are always, placed in a position to like overly prove and overly like explain themselves for some shit that I don't even understand. And like, I don't get that. And I'm not vibing with that at all. And like, I don't know why we're so conditioned to give people chances and to be so trusting and to be so giving, like off the back. Like, who's earned that from us? Right? And if we're not giving it to ourselves, why do we not find ourselves necessary of our own love and our own nurturing and our own value? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, it's really sickening and kind of backwards when you think of it that way, where we can really start getting involved with conscious creation. And conscious creation is also known as the co-creator level. The view of reality is life happens for me. I create my reality. And as long as you remember this, there is nothing, no one or any circumstance that can get you down and out or anything like that. Like, there's nothing that's going to make you deter from your goals, make you deter from, what you want and your path, because you're going to be able to see it for what it is, like I said, and be able to choose better, choose self always. And if there is a certain outcome or a certain desire that you're wanting for maybe a particular circumstance or a situation, then say, okay, I know it's going to be this way. I know it's working out for me. I know it's unfolding in my favor and it's happening right now. And you keep pushing, okay? But it's best to let it go as well, and to just let it be what it is for the time being, as things continue to unfold to you and continue to reveal themselves to you, because they always will and they always do. And just trust that process and trust the path, for as long as you can, and just do what you can and do of it what you will, right? Deep understanding of the law of assumption, energy, beliefs, and identity. Yes. You begin shifting your self-concept and consciously choosing your thoughts. Yes. Manifestation becomes a lifestyle, not a technique. Yeah. Because we're always manifesting. And, that's why it's like, when I started realizing that manifestation wasn't just about techniques and like manifesting some random mansion overnight, it was more about like quite literally who you're being at all times, and how you speak to yourself, and like the energetics, because you'll see the reality shift. And it is indeed a gradual shift. I mean, some people do, experience instant changes, which is beautiful, but I'm a person that I have been enjoying the gradual shifts, because I've enjoyed learning more about myself. I've enjoyed learning more about manifestation and mindset, especially at this level. I've enjoyed seeing the results in my life, from the little ones to the bigger ones. I've enjoyed pursuing my personal goals. Like, you guys all know that I'm like studying real estate and everything right now. And just really enjoying the fact that I'm just enjoying the fact that I've not only shifted my mindset, but I'm embodying it, and I can reap the benefits of this new mindset that I've had for about a year now. And it's been beautiful, because I no longer overly stress over things. I see people and places and things for like who and what they are. It doesn't affect me. If anything, it just kind of makes me want to be like, okay, that's a good try. But I'm going to keep on moving forward. I'm going to keep on pushing over here. Because why would I entertain anything less than that? Especially when, a person or, a place or whatever has shown me that they're only able to, like, if a person keeps disrespecting you and keeps trying to come at you and keeps devaluing you, like, why the fuck would you entertain it? Why would you care about it? Why would you even engage with it? Why would you even give power to it? Sometimes you see people for what they are, and the biggest relief is the fact that you made it out and you made it away from them. You know what I mean? And it allows you to get that space and that detachment to co-create and create and do something better. Shifting your self-concept and consciously choosing your thoughts. Yes. And you understand everything is a mirror of your inner state. Yes. This is where most people in the manifestation space land empowered, but still ego-centered in many ways. Yeah. And so number 4 is soul consciousness. And this is the surrendered state, when you just let things be, right? Because you already understand, the higher point of things. So soul consciousness is also known as flow state. Divine feminine frequency. Your view of reality is I am guided, I am held, I surrender to divine timing, period. You're less controlling, you're more trusting. You're still manifesting, but from flow, not from force. Deep intuition, presence, and alignment with the higher self. You release attachment to outcomes and let the life unfold itself to you divinely, okay? You experience peace regardless of circumstances. This, you guys remember when I did that post, right? And it was like, I was like driving in my car and I was like, you know, I don't crash out no more because I have what most people don't, and that's inner peace. And that inner fulfillment, that inner peace, and that inner stability is something that I have worked so hard on. I have worked on it, and it's not been the easiest. It's at times it's been a bitch because it's taken my mind so long to unify with my body and soul, and to just like align my nervous system in a state to where I don't care, you know, what or who or how tries to come against me. I'm going to be at peace with wherever the outcome is, however it is, because I know who I am. And I know that I am more than enough. I know what I'm worth. I'm never going to allow another person or thing or whatever outside of me to define my worth ever again, because that's how I've lost myself before. And so things can be as intense and as crazy as they want to be, but I'm at peace with the fact that I fucking made it here, okay? Because I know how I used to feel in 2022. I know how I used to feel in 2023. And here it is, 2025, and I have finally achieved this version of myself that I thought was fucking, shit. To be the version of myself today that doesn't have panic attacks anymore. To be the version of myself today that doesn't like have like those crazy depressive episodes anymore. To be the version of myself today that doesn't feel the need to fucking pop off on a live stream and be insane no more. Bitch, didn't know that this was possible. Always heard about it though. Always wanted to explore it though. So the fact that I'm embodying it now, especially as a mom, so I can teach my kids how to be like this, so I can like pass down the lessons so they don't have to be emotionally dysregulated, so they don't have to be feeling low and less than about themselves, so they don't have to be fighting all those inner, oh God, bitch, fighting the inner and outer battles that I did for the majority of my life. Do you know what a blessing that is? And so when you ascend to this level of consciousness, you have almost no choice but to have inner peace, because you realize that it doesn't matter what happens outside of you. It's nothing there. It's only you at all times. And then you begin to have gratitude for, you know, waking up every day, your blessings, for, you know, how far you have come in the world, for all the things that you have overcame, for all the things that you have achieved, and the things that you will continue to achieve because you are it. Right? Like, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it's a blessing. And honestly, like, when I posted that picture of me riding around in the car, like I have what most people don't, like inner peace, it's the truth, because people who are not at peace or, you know, having a state of fulfillment within themselves, they're easy to spot. They're the ones crashing out. They're the ones, you know, gossiping about, you know, who knows what. They're the ones keeping up a lot of mess. They're the ones trying to, you know, engage in post-separation abuse or causing all of these chaotic storms. They're the ones trying their best to hurt people and project things outside of them instead of looking within, because probably looking within for them feels like, you know, too much of a task. It's too much like right, I guess. But I can't relate to it because I've ascended beyond that mindset. So I can't even relate or engage with people who don't operate the way I'm embodied. And that's why, like, even when you go on this journey, you might find yourself in a lot of isolation, or maybe just preferring to be more around family, honestly, and just more around level-headed folks. Like, that's another reason why I've been wanting to continue with Traumatized Girlie, because I love the level-headedness. I love how a lot of you guys are resonating with this content, meaning that we share something in common. And as an intellectual and as a person who's achieved this level, these layers of consciousness, I love that. This stuff makes me nerd out. Like, to me, that this is like literally all there is in life. Everything is mindset. And so to have people to where I can talk about these things with, and people who can talk to me, it's like, I love that. It's like we're just constantly bouncing off experience and knowledge, and we're absorbing it and we're applying it to our lives and evolving as better people. And it's just like, there's nothing greater than this, honestly, for me. And so it's really been a beautiful, beautiful journey, for real. Let's talk about more of the layers of soul consciousness. This is the beginning of true spiritual maturity, from self-serving creation to soul-led living. Exactly. And experiencing peace regardless of your circumstances is so huge. Like, and when you do achieve this, this is the thing, you're going to always prioritize your peace over all things, and you're going to be so committed and so dedicated to your inner peace and your inner fulfillment that this is how you actually will set the energetic boundaries and the physical boundaries with people, places, things, so you can always prioritize your peace, so you can always prioritize your stillness. Because why would you overextend yourself for anything else or anyone else, especially when you don't fucking have to, right? Number 5, my favorite, which is Christ consciousness. And Christ consciousness is a layer of consciousness that I have personally achieved. I have a whole story about it on my Patreon, about how I ascended into Christ consciousness, what exactly happened that night. Bitch, it literally happened for me at 3:33 a.m. Bitch, it was intense, girl. But I'm blessed for it, I swear, because like, I don't trip now. Like, I don't sweat the small stuff no more. I don't trip now. Like, I'm all there is. So I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? And it also has helped me not only restore my faith and move forward in faith, but I've developed my own personal relationship with God, just like through everything. And just really honing in and on my blessings, and, you know, being interconnected and being still and being at peace and just loving it so much. Honestly, like, it's a completely different lifestyle and experience. And so Christ consciousness pretty much consists of the unity, I am, and the God within. Yes. View of reality, I and the Father are one. Everything is me. Yes, all there is. Complete ego death. You transcend polarity, time, limitation, and fear, period. Because what is there to be afraid of? What is there to be fucking angry about when it's just you? And people can only reflect you. Now, if you're dealing with people who are still trying to like get in touch or affect like an older version of you, that's not really your fucking problem. That's more of like a reflection of them and like their own bullshit and why they're out of your life. So don't get too wrapped up in that. But yeah, like, as you move forward, you're gonna see how everything is you, even if it is representing a past version, a current version, or even, you know, hints and winks of, you know, the future self, the higher self, and the newer timelines you're calling in. You no longer seek to manifest from desire. You live from knowing, period. You embody unconditional love, compassion, stillness, and truth, period. There's nothing to get, only to be, period. You no longer chase, you are the embodiment, period. You see the divine in everyone and everything, including yourself, yes. And this is where you live in your kingdom within. Nothing outside can touch you here. This is freedom. And by prioritizing this is how you not only protect yourself, but you protect your peace, and you protect the very, you know, magnet of your entire reality, which is self, and how you're radiating from within to the outer world. And this is where it all connects, because with Christ consciousness comes all the other layers, and it allows you to not only see from within, but, you know, as within, so without. And when you finally have this, you know, understanding, and you embody this, you're able to make peace with who and whatever. And good, quote unquote, bad, if you label it bad, and in between, you're just going to be grateful for the experience. You're going to be grateful for the lesson. You're going to be grateful for the time spent. You're going to be grateful for the ability to have even achieved it for however long you achieved it. And you're also going to realize that there's nothing ever lost. So to all my SP people, and to all my people who are trying to, you know, manifest, you know, their jobs back, or, you know, something like that, once you understand that you are indeed your own SP, and I just posted a short about this, you are your own person. You are your own lover. You are your own partner. You are your own everything. But you have to start treating and seeing yourself as that first, and loving on yourself like that first. and then your world will respond. But you have to trust that it will too, and trust and know in yourself that you're more than deserving, and don't get too caught up off of your path, especially when you've gone through so much just to achieve this, right? So I love you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next one. You guys go ahead and let me know what you all thought about this. And then next we're gonna break down the individual layers of consciousness like more in depth, and hopefully y'all like that. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah.